And for some that say, oh, my husband is not that kind of person, you are creating for yourself what you have just spoken. You have hope. You can start changing it. First, start changing the way you see your husband. A friend of mine said to me, and I agreed, he says, there are two personalities in a man, a king or a beast. The one that shows up is totally dependent on the one that you address. What does that mean? If you address your husband as a king, it is the king that will show up and you'll be treated like a queen. If you address your husband as a beast or as a fool, it is the beast and the fool that would show up and you'll be treated as a prey. So there are two sides of a husband. The one that shows up is totally dependent on the one that you address. So if you want the king to always show up so that you are being treated like a queen, always address your husband as a king and he would always treat you like his queen. If you address your husband as that guy that does not have sense, that does not know his left from his right, he's going to treat you as a wife of someone that doesn't have sense, that does not know his left from his right. So I'll round up with that description. I'll allow you brood on that while I open up the table for questions. Please, at this point, let's answer questions because my attention is needed now for some other duties, but I want to give the next few minutes to answer whatever questions you have. Over to you, Pastor B.
Amazing. I can see somebody's hands up, Miss Royalty. And thank you very much, Coach, for always taking out time to
I want biscuits.
Okay. Thank you for always taking out time to, pour of yourself for us and of course sharing the deep truth with us. I tell you, sometimes when these things come, we've not heard them before. Like I always like to tell you, it's like we're hearing them for the first time. So the floor is open so we can wrap up. Miss Royalty, you can unmute and ask your question.
Good evening, Pastor B. Good evening, esteemed coach, sir. Sorry, I didn't raise my hand for question. It was when he asked if there is any independent woman in the class or someone that aspired to be. That was when I raised my hand.
Fantastic.
I raised my hand because before now, I love to be independent because I don't like people stressing me. So I usually tell my husband, I think I only need you for childbearing. Every other thing I can provide for myself, especially when it gets me angry. I really think I want to be independent because I love my happiness. But I'm learning. Maybe I'll change my mind somehow. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you so much for giving that insight. Thank you so much. Just hearing you say that, I'm feeling heartbroken. Why? Because if, as a wife, you say to your husband that the only reason why you need him is for childbearing, you have reduced him to becoming an animal. He can never be the husband you want him to be if your purpose for him is just childbearing. Then his purpose for you would only just be casual sex, nothing else. Men are built to thrive with purpose. If you take the purpose away, you have taken away the man. What you just have is a shell. You might as well not be married because he goes with his protection, he goes with his covering, he goes with his leadership, he goes with everything that would have come with a husband. All you just have is a shell of a man. It's not scriptural to say or do so. That position is not scriptural. It's not biblical at all. It's not a safe place to be as a woman. It means that if your life dependent on him, he will not step up. He will just let you be. You find some ladies that, oh, they are sick, for instance, and their husband doesn't care. Their husband just, well, the day you die, you die. Why? Because the relationship between them is not the one of a man and a wife. It's just one of sex or friends with benefits or something of, I can't even quantify it. So anyone that feels that, oh yes, I like to be independent, I don't like the hassle of depending on a man. Depend on a man shouldn't be seen as a hassle. It should be seen as something that is like you saying you didn't want to or you don't want to depend on your parents when you were a child. It is necessary. First is, why get married to someone you cannot depend on? That's the first error that I like to tell women. Always ensure you get married to someone you can depend on. That's one. Then secondly, if you're already married, any man you have married, you are born again, spirit-filled, God is able to make that man dependable. But you have to see the man as dependable for him to become dependable. You have to show him that you trust him to be dependable. And you have to give him the space to show that he's dependable. Say, but he has failed many times. Yes, and so have you. But to say to him that the only reason why you want him is to bear a child or children, you are setting up yourself, because you are going to also raise your children to not respect him as a father. You might not do it intentionally, but it's going to show in your attitude. Your children are going to come to you and say, Mom, we want to do this. Without telling them to get consent from your father, you just go ahead and do it. Only to realize that daddy did not want them to do it. Or maybe that was not the time he wanted or how he wanted. You would always belittle him without knowing. It's the same reason why a lot of husbands don't like their wives working, because it easily makes them belittle his office. I am not against professional women, not at all. But it's something that women need to pay attention to, so you don't find yourself belittling your head. The moment you do so, you have given the room to every other woman and every other person on earth to do so to your husband. Because nobody can respect your husband more than you respect your husband. If another woman respects your husband more than you do, the woman will take your husband from you, willingly or unwillingly. Because that's what men thrive on. Never let another woman respect your husband more than you do. And the same way, don't let another woman disrespect your husband, especially in your presence. So don't give room for someone to disrespect your husband, and also don't give room for someone to respect your husband more than you do. Because you're going to be the first beneficiary of it all. So never find yourself angrily or happily disrespect your husband in a way where you say to your husband, your purpose for me is just to give birth. I married you. But this is now you sound like you married him, not him marrying you. Say, I married you because I just wanted babies. I can do every other thing myself. Even if you can, don't say that to him. If there's something in the top shelf, even if you know if you stand on that stool, your hand will get there. Say, honey, please, can you come and help me bring this thing down? He might act as if you are disturbing him, but it would be happy in his heart because you are giving him purpose. Honey, please, can you help me do this? You know I can't do this without you. Honey, please, can you help me do this? It is not a sign of weakness. It's the baby girl life. Allow him have purpose in your life. It's part of the way of keeping the job. The moment he stops having purpose in your life, he moves on. That's the reason why you find some men impregnate the housemaid, because the housemaid is giving him purpose. Or he starts dating a much younger girl that is coming to rub his head and calling him sweetheart, honey, baby. They are giving him relevance. They are giving him, my phone just broke. I need to get a new phone. And you know, you are the one now. Without you, this life is hard. They are giving him purpose. But what are you doing? You are telling him, I don't need you. I can take care of myself. So he will go to a place where he is needed. So for those of you that have that kind of mindset, I would advise, I can't force, but I advise you, it is not in your best interest that your husband does not have purpose around you. or his purpose is just to produce children. It should be way more than that. For your own interest, for your own good. You are not built to suffer. You are not built to stress like this. That's the reason why God gave you a head, to protect, to lead, to guide. Okay? So that's it. And you can find some humans now, men and women alike, saying the same thing about God. We don't need God. We can do it by ourselves. We don't need God. It's the same thing you saying as a woman by saying you don't need the man. I can do all these things by myself. There's no difference. So I don't believe there's a God. I can do it. We don't need men. Us women can do all these things by ourselves. Meanwhile, the phone you are using to call to say it is a man that built it. The car you drove from the house to the place you went to is a man that built it. The quota that the car drove on is a man that built it. The house that you are in is a man that built it. Everything you are using that is useful to you right now was built by a man's hand. And you say you don't need a man. All you need them is just to procreate. Then you just kill them. Just take their sperm and just kill them off and see how you fare. So my advice to you, never say that to a man, especially when the man is your husband, because you lose 99% of the man by saying that. What you get is just the shell. So it's not in your best interest. Or I hope the answer was not so long, or the response wasn't so long, or it's an angle that needs to be addressed. Always make your husband feel needed. Even if for now you feel like you are faking it, it is safer to you to fake it for now until it becomes real for you. Tell him you love him. Tell him he's important to you. Tell him how important he is to the family. Tell him how you cannot do much without him. Tell him how his guidance and leadership has helped move you as a person and move the family forward. Even if it feels like you are prophesying right now, start to prophesy it until it becomes your reality. You will be the one to reap the fruit of it. All right, so next comment or next question.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. That has really changed my perspective.
Thank you for at least letting us know.
Coach, sir, what if he feels as though he's very why I say that, because at times feel as though he's very important, like, okay, come help me do this, can you do he wants to make you trap me in a way. That's when I say that, because I feel
you're saying it wrong. I know why you're saying it, but let me explain to you. When he says that, walk up to him and rub his head and say, honey, now help your wife now, be a sweet darling now, and see what happens. That is your strength. Your softness is your strength. You are not doing, I'm a man also, I can do it also. Going toe to toe with him like that, it means you are challenging him. Don't do that. It will never give you the best. Let your softness, every time he tries to be hard, become softer. Anytime he tries to be hard, become softer. So if you tell him, oh, come and help me do that, and say, you are disturbing me, walk up to him. Rub your hand on him. If that does not work, raise your blouse and show him your boobs. It will work. You have a lot of things going for you. And you are married, so it is not a crime. What I just said now is not a crime. It's your power. If a younger girl comes now to seduce him, those are the things the younger girl would do. Your hands are not short. You are not handicapped. Why not do it? That's how to get your husband to do what you want without making him feel like you are forcing him, without you looking like you are the one bossing him around. They say if a woman knows how to reach the heart of the husband, it feels like she has charmed the husband. This is your charm. Your softness, soft-spokenness, soft touch, always enticing him. That's your strength. Use it. Stop being like those women that say, I have PhD, I have a high-paying job, I can pay for any holiday that I want, I can do all this, but you will suffer. You will suffer. And that suffer, no one will give you medals for it. You don't need it. All right? So, any other comments or questions?
Thank you.
Wow, fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Do we have another person that have any feedback, comments, questions? So we can wrap up in another 5 minutes.
Pastor, I have a question. I raised my hand up.
Go ahead.
Okay, Coach, I'm sorry if I don't really know how to go about this question, but is a kind of a burden in my heart that I needed the direction on how to go about it. Okay, I just discovered recently there has been a kind of issues between my parents. They are aged. Okay, there's always one complaint here, one complaint here. That is complaining, mommy is not doing this one right, mommy is not doing this one right. So I have to kind of, okay, let Momsy come over to Lagos. So I brought her to Lagos. We got talking, we had a little conversation, and to my greatest surprise, she said something that the issue has been because she's not always giving in to him. Coach, my mom should be about 65. My mom is about 65. My dad is about 70 something, going to 80. So, and I'm now wondering, what on earth is this man looking for in this life? Because I'm just like, these people are, they shouldn't be, this kind of conversation shouldn't be happening. But when I go talking with my mom, she just say, hey, because daddy is always asking. I'm like, this man is old. Come on, what is he looking for? So I was really I was confused initially because I was like, I'm not expecting this from him. Having a conversation with my younger sister, I was like, so if, for God forbid, Momsy passes on now, my pale can as well get a younger wife, and he's good to, you'll be firing on. I'm like, so I don't really know how to create a balance, how to come into this conversation. Yes, I'm married, but I'm actually like the last person to talk about this, because it's actually causing an issue. I used to know my parents to be very close, but Momsy is getting old, and I'm just wondering. I don't know
Wow.
how to start
Thank you,
conversation, but
Mr. Tina.
I really need to hear this well.
All right, so that I'm sure that I got your question or your expression. Your mom is complaining. Your mom and your dad, they have their complaints. Your mom complains that your dad is still demanding or too demanding, and your father's complains that your mom is not yielding.
It's not as if,
would that be correct?
Yes, it's not as if he told me, but from the conversation I had with my mom, that is what is suggested. He's suggesting that, he's always, and this woman, she has about 9 children already. So what's this man looking for?
He's not looking for a child. He is horny. I told you a man can have sex until he dies, and that age is not 75. Till 120, the man still can have sex unless he has a medical condition. He's still active at the record of would have given birth at 90, 95 as a man. And this will help all of you see your future. If Jesus tarries the next 30 or 40 or 50 years, your husband, should he remain with you, will still be asking you for sex. So don't 65 to a man, you are young. As far as he's still asking you for sex, it means he still sees you as attractive. That is a good thing. Especially in Africa. He does not need to stick with you. He doesn't have to wait until your mother dies. He can literally just walk out of the house and pick himself a young wife and come home. Your mom will not be able to do a thing about it. And that also includes you. You can't do a thing about it. So the fact that he is still longing for your mom is something you all should celebrate. Rather than ask, what is he looking for? He is looking for sex. He is a man. He is horny. This is part of the 80% that I say men always push aside that you don't know about. Most men don't talk about it. But it's not because it is easy. A man marries one wife. It is not because it is easy for him to marry, or it's easier for him to marry one wife. It's a lot of sacrifice for a man to marry one wife. Mentally speaking, sexually speaking, it's a lot of sacrifice. It's part of sacrifice that men don't bother explain to women because they can't understand. Imagine a scenario where you are responsible for cooking and your husband is one responsible for giving you money for food. And what you need to cook for the month is 100,000, and your husband keeps giving you 20,000 every month for the rest of your life. How would that fare? How would you feel? What you need is 100,000 every month, but your husband gives you 20,000 every month, and he doesn't care. He tells you, "This is all I have. Use it," and he's expecting to get the best out of you, even after giving you 20,000 out of 80,000. That is how it feels for a man. The man wants sex 10 times. You give it to the man 2 times, and you tell the man, "Live with it." What is wrong with you? Can't you keep your hand to yourself? Did you not just have it 3 days ago? That is what men sacrifice. Everyone. When you see the ones that are cheating, the ones that refuse to sacrifice, you call them cheat, you call them unreasonable, you call them names. Meanwhile, the mothers of your mother, what did they do? Once they pass the age where they are unable to give sex anymore, they go and look. A lot of you now to giving him the sex till you die. There's really no middle ground. You can only appeal to him and say, instead of 3 times young, can it be at least maybe once a week or something? But to say, "Oh, shop has closed," you are kidding. The man will give you hell. He will. And that's not because he's a bad person. No. He's simply a man. So is there any other question, or have I answered it or not answered it? So if you want explanation, let me just tell you. Tell your mom,
Okay.
She has 2 options: either to yield to your father's request or get your father a younger woman. There's no either that, or she'll keep having the issues she's having with your father. And that, don't ever think your father is unreasonable or unfair or not understanding. He has understood all his life. He has been sacrificing all his life.
Not yet, sir.
Yeah, so let your mom know that she should please be more available for daddy. He should yield at least. Let her seem to be a little yielding. Let her show a little effort. The sex might not be the way it was when they were young. It might not be so, hopefully not. But she should be seeing there are other ways she can satisfy him. She should help her study, help her find ways to satisfy him sexually. You're also grown, you're not a child, so you can help your mom do the research. Find how do women in their 60s and 70s have sex or satisfy their husband. Find it out, study and show it to her, teach her. Let her go home vibrant, updated, so that your father's light will shine again and you'll be excited. And everybody will be happy in Israel.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah,
Wow.
you're welcome. So,
Amazing. Thank you very much, Coach. I think we have one more to go. King Pauline, we are closing the session with you tonight. So kindly go ahead with your question and feedback. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma. Now, like Coach explained to us earlier on, and he was giving an example of how you can be having different bosses. And there is an example you gave us earlier on where if your love language is having enough time with your husband and you're married to a business person or someone who is frequently busy, you don't expect much from them. So driving that to the issue of the high libido, there are actually men, like you said, that men can have sex twice a day, 7 days a week. That is an average man. But you'll find in some instances where there are men who actually don't like it that way. It's the woman pushing for them to be intimate, to make love. Probably the man will always come up with an excuse, 1 or 2. They'll have it once a week or twice a week or once a month. And you will find that the issue of sex in this marriage is not the lady's problem, but it's actually the man. So since you said that an average man can have it twice a day, 7 days a week, someone in in a perfect condition, does that mean that this man is having it from somewhere else, or indeed the man doesn't feel like having it? Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so when you say something is average, it means that there are some things that are above it and there are some things that are below it, right? So that said, it could be either or both of what you just said. It could be that the man is having it somewhere else. Yes, it's possible that he doesn't find the woman employing her in the first place. So that's where it goes back to what is the terms of employment. You need to find out terms of employment. Why did he marry her in the first place? Now, let's say she finds out that sex isn't the reason why, right? Maybe just to bear children, and she already have the children, and that's it. Why? Is it that the man is attracted to someone else, or does he have some medical condition? A medical condition does not mean he does not have an erection. No, there are people that psychologically have some psychological issues where they are not open to sex like that. For some, they are homosexual tendencies where they just married because of the society that they are in, but they are attracted to men, not to women. I'm hoping that's not the case, but there are such cases where the man just gets married for the title of being married to a woman so that eyes are not on him, but he's actually sexually attracted to other men. That in itself is also a psychological problem, right? So it's either it is biological or it's psychological, or he's having it with someone else. Ordinarily, if it depends, the man doesn't have a biological issue. Sorry? Did someone say something?
No, coach, I think somebody's mic was unmuted. No.
Okay. So either way, first of all, you want to find out the root cause. You want to find out, is it that he's not attracted to me? And if he's not, why? Because if he's not attracted to you, then the challenge is not you, right? If truly he's not attracted to you, the challenge is not you. So if it's a thing of, oh, he's attracted to other women, you now need to find out what is he attracted to those women for. If it's something you can update yourself to become, then great. If he's attracted to men, that's a psychological thing. Then you have to fight it from both the psychological and the spiritual side of it to help correct that you might be requiring external help for. If that's the case, then we can talk about that later. But I'm hoping that's not the case. Then the other one could be mental, in terms of the woman puts so much pressure on him such that he is rarely sexually attracted, not attracted, but sexually turned on with her. So you have to now to brand herself so that she becomes sexually glaring to the man, such that she now starts becoming sexually attracted, or the man starts getting sexually attracted to her. So there are quite some sides to it. But with the information given now, I'm not able to deduce what exactly this particular scenario is. So if we can get more information, we can look at it in depth and know, okay, what exactly is the issue? Once we know the issue, then the problem is half solved. Do you understand? We need to know, is it psychological? Is it spiritual? Is it biological? Is it economical? Because the man that have not paid his bills, sometimes the man can get too worried that sex is not what he's thinking about, even though there are very rare guys that, because of economy, they are not tuned sexually. Rare, but yes, they have such men too. All right, so we need to have more information, or at least I need to have more information so that we're able to narrow it down to what it is. All right, and it could even be that the way the woman gives have sex is the man's upbringing. For instance, let's say you get married to one highly Catholic guy that he thinks sex is just for procreating. Then it just means that is really simple. The man just needs more education. He needs to know that it is his responsibility. He needs to know that sex is also fun. Sex is not just for procreation and all that. So that's like, hopefully that's what the case is, because that's like the easiest one. The man just needs to upgrade his education with regards to what sex is and what sex is not. Then they should be fine. Yeah, I hope the answer wasn't too long.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome, man. All right, so with this, I think we're wrapping up the class for today. I'll hand over now effectively to Pastor B, and I hope we get time to talk about more pressing stuff too. If you have questions or areas that you think, topics that you think we should look into, the major areas of concern for you, you could always let Pastor B know. She would get it to me, and we'll look at it, and we can create content around it and share more light about it. All right. So I'm passionate about having wonderful families, wonderful home. And you cannot have a wonderful family or home if you do not have a happy husband or happy wife. You need a happy husband and happy wife to create a happy family, a happy home. That's one of the things that I'm very passionate about, having a happy home and a happy family. So we're talking about happy wives and happy husbands. All right. With this, I would like to say thank you everyone for attending the class. I hope it was worth your time. I hope to get more questions if there are any, and more topics if you have any. And if there are other things that you think you would have said, you can't say directly now, you can get it to Pastor B and she'll get it to me. And we'll talk about it. It could be private, it could be generally like this, depending on how it goes. All right. Thank you, everyone. Do have a wonderful night.
Thank you very much, Coach.
Thank you,
Thank you very
Coach.
much, everybody that participated in chapter 3. Then chapter 4 is going to be a build-up of chapter 3, and I'm really, really, really looking forward to it. So if just let us know, we know that quite a lot of people are here, but not everybody gave us their response. Please, in the group, please just give us a feedback. That's how we'll know that the class was informative. Just even if it's a sticker, a smiley, send a message back to us and let us know that you were really in class today, not just that your phone was somewhere, you participated actively in class. So we'll be drawing the curtain here. I want to thank you once again for making out time from a busy schedule. It shows how intentional that you are. Until we come your way again, and that will be in chapter 4. Stay blessed and stay happy. Yes, Coach.
Please, I would like everyone, do me a favor, like an assignment. If you could put down on the group something that you heard today that you didn't quite know before, or something new that you learned. It does not have to be long. If you want to make it long, it's fine. If it's short, but I would like to know from everyone, what was new to you? What came out? What jumped out at you today? Or what was your take home from today's class? I would really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Coach. Thank you, everyone. Until we come again your way again, we love you. Take care of yourself and have a lovely night rest. Good night.
Good night, Pastor Bar.
Oh, thank you so much, Pastor. Thank you so much, esteemed Coach. We love you dearly. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Coach.